Hello everyone, welcome to today's lecture. Did you go through yesterday's lecture? Did you finish with Ohm's law, resistivity? Okay, now today we are moving on to the next topic, that is conductors and insulators. There is an activity given on page number 36 towards the end. You may see, I'll read it out. The method: make connections as shown in the figure. First, connect a copper wire between the points A and B and measure the current in the circuit. Okay, so I will explain it to you. There are 2 points here. This point is taken as A and this point is taken as B. They have provided you with 4 materials. One is a copper wire, aluminum wire, a glass rod and a rubber material. What you have to do, you have to first connect the copper wire to this AB and see that whether the current will flow or not. What will happen if the current flows? If the current flows, the ammeter will show deflection. Okay, that means the current is flowing through the circuit. In copper, the current will flow. After that, you have to remove that copper and join aluminum wire. When you join the aluminum wire, then also the current will flow, isn't it? What about glass rod? Will the current flow? No, the current will not flow. What about the rubber material? Will the current flow? No, the current will not flow. So this is just an experiment to show that some materials can conduct electricity and some materials do not conduct electricity. Now, conduct electricity means what do you mean by that? That means the electrons can flow through those wires. Electrons can flow through those wires made up of copper, aluminum, etc. Whereas in case of rubber, the electrons does not flow. Okay, so this is the definition of conductors on page number 37. Those substances which have very low resistance are called conductors. Current can flow easily through such materials. Insulators: those substances which have extremely high resistance and through which current cannot flow are called as insulators. Okay, so I have written here, conductors has low resistance and current easily flow through those wires and they are having free electrons. You have to remember this point. It is very important while writing a distinguish between question. You could get a distinguish between question on conductors and insulators. 3 points I have given here. So conductors have low resistance, insulators have high resistance. Conductors, current easily flows through a conductor, whereas current cannot flow through an insulator. Conductors have free electrons, insulators do not have free electrons. Now there are 2 questions given there. Why are some substances conductors while others are insulators? Okay, because some substances are conductors because they are having free electrons and some substances are insulators because they do not have free electrons. The answer is this. You may write there, some substances are conductors because they have free electrons and some substances are insulators because they do not have free electrons. Okay. Next, why can our body conduct electricity? Okay, our body consists of several ions. Okay, in our body there are several ions like sodium ions, potassium ions. These are present in the body and those ions can conduct electricity. Ions can conduct electricity. Okay, so that is why our body conducts electricity. The answer is, our body contains various ions which have the tendency to conduct electricity. I repeat, our body contains various ions which have the tendency to conduct electricity. Our body contains various ions which have the tendency to conduct electricity. Okay. Now, there is one experiment given in the textbook, that is an experiment for verification of Ohm's law. What is Ohm's law? We had studied in the other lecture. V is proportional to I or I is proportional to V, where I stand for current and V stand for potential difference. Okay. It states that if the physical condition of conductor remains constant, then the potential difference is directly proportional to the current passing through the conductor, or the vice versa, the current passing is directly proportional to the potential difference between its ends. That means I is proportional to V. Now this has been proved in this experiment. In this experiment you may see there is a connection given, there is a wire connection, there is a key, plug key which is closed, ammeter which is connected in series, voltmeter which is connected in parallel, there is a resistance which is connected, and it is connected to 4 cells here. Here I have shown 4 cells. Okay, now this connection, first what you have to do, in here there is only one cell which is connected. It is this wire is connected here, means only one cell is connected. So when the number of cell is 1, when the number of cell is 1, what will be the ammeter reading and what will be the voltmeter reading? You have to write the ammeter reading and the voltmeter reading. Whatever reading you get in ammeter, it is in milliampere, so you have to convert into ampere. So that is why there are 2 columns for I. Okay, so the value which you get on the ammeter and the converted value. Okay, you have to divide it by 1000 and write. So here whatever value you will get, if you get it as 28, it will be 28 upon 1000. So 0.028 will be the value here. Okay, so that is why there are 2 columns for I. So you have to take the value of I, you have to take the value of V, and you have to calculate V upon I. You will get a value that is X. Consider it as X. Okay. Now what you have to do, you have to connect one more cell. That means this you have to connect here. Okay. If you connect here, then 2 cells are connected. So the number of cells becomes 2. When the number of cell is 2, you have to take the ammeter reading, you have to take the voltmeter reading and convert it into ampere, volt, and you have to find out V upon I. You may see that that value also will be X. The number will be the same. I repeat, if this is 1, this also will be 1. If this is 10, this also will be 10. Why? Because the Ohm's law is that V upon I is a constant. V upon I is equal to R, and R is a constant. Okay. So R remains constant. So from the next case, you have to connect 3 cells. Okay. You have to connect 3 cells. So after connecting 3 cells, you have to take the ammeter reading, you have to take the voltmeter reading, ammeter reading, voltmeter reading, and you may find out that again the value is the same. Again after that you have to connect it here. If you connect it here, then you have connected 4 cells. You have to take the ammeter reading, you have to take the voltmeter reading. Okay, both readings you have to take, and you have to calculate V upon I. You will get the same value. By point wise difference might be there, but the value will be the same. That is what is Ohm's law. So what does Ohm's law state? That V upon I is equal to R, and R is a constant. So this is how it is proved. This experiment, I think it is there in the near practicals, but I am not sure how long, whether you will be able to do the practicals or not. But this question, sometimes they ask questions from this, sometimes they ask to draw the diagram showing verification of Ohm's law. The diagram showing verification of Ohm's law is figure 3.7. Okay, now we may move on to the numericals on page number 38. I have solved one example. First we will read out the question. The resistance of the filament in a light bulb is 1000 ohms. If the bulb is fed by a current from a source of potential difference 230 volts, how much current will flow through it? Okay, so R is given as 1000 ohms, V is given as 230 volts. You have to find out I. We know the equation, V is equal to IR. So I is equal to V upon R. V is 230, R is 1000. So 230 upon 1000. After cancelling, okay, after cancelling and taking the point towards the left, you will get the answer as 0.23, amperes. Okay, so this question is very important. You may mark this. It is frequently asked. Okay. Now we may see the example number 2. The length of a conducting wire is 50 centimeter and its radius is 0.5 millimeter. If its resistance is 30 ohms, what is the resistivity of the material? You know that resistivity is shown by the letter, by the symbol rho. Okay. Here, what has been given? The length has been given as 50 centimeter. Centimeter, you have to convert it into meter. So you are dividing it by 100. You will get it as 0.5 meter. R, that is the radius of the wire, they have given as 0.5 millimeter. That you have to convert into meter. So it is 0.5 upon 1000. 1000 is same as 10 raised to 3. Okay, so 0.5 upon 10 raised to 3, which is same as 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter. R, resistance, they have given as 30 ohms. You have to find out rho. You know the equation, rho is equal to RA upon L. Basically the equation was like this, R is equal to rho L upon A. So R will be equal to, rho will be equal to RA upon L. R is 30. You may see here R is 30. A means area. A is equal to pi r square. We know the equation. So the value of pi is taken as 3.14. You can take it as 22 upon 7 also. But here 3.14 is better because it will simplify the calculation. That's all. R square. R is 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 3 the whole square. Okay. Now I am opening this square. I have taken 0.5 two times instead of making it to 0.25. Why? I'll tell you. 30 into 3.14 into 0.5 into 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 3 the whole square makes 10 raised to minus 6 upon 0.5. This 0.5 and this 0.5 I can cancel it easily. So now 0.5 has got cancelled. Now you have to multiply 30 into 3.14 into 0.5. You will get the value as 47.1 and I have kept this as it is, that is into 10 raised to minus 6. Okay. Now in physics there is a rule. Okay, there is a tradition to write the values with one decimal. Okay, generally the answers which are given is with one digit and the others in decimals. That means I have to make this 4.71. I have to make this as 4.71. To make this 4.71, I have to, if I have to convert 47.1 into 4.71, I have to bring this point towards the left. Okay, if I have to bring the point towards the left, I have to divide it by 10. I have to divide it by 10. Okay, so already the value is 47.1 into 10 raised to minus 6. It is this value which I have written here. And I am dividing it by 10. Why? Because I want to bring a point, I want to move the point towards the left. But there is a rule, if you are going to multiply the denominator, then you have to multiply the numerator also. That means I will have to put a 10 here also. Okay, that means if you are dividing it by 10, you have to multiply it by 10. So this is 10 raised to 1. Okay, this is 10 raised to 1. So I cannot cancel this because I am taking this purposely. For my purpose, I have taken this. For this, 47.1 will get converted into 4.71. What about this? This will be minus 6 plus 1, that will change into 10 raised to minus 5. So this is the answer. You may see in the textbook. So the answer is 4.71 into 10 raised to minus 5 ohm meter. This is how they got the answer. Okay, you may mark this. You may copy this in your notebook. Now the next example, example 3. A current of 0.24 ampere flows through a conductor when a potential difference of 24 volt is applied between its two ends. What is its resistance? So they have given V is equal to 24 and I is equal to 0.24. You have to find out the resistance. We know the equation V is equal to IR. So R is equal to V upon I. So it is 24 upon 0.24. You have to get rid of the decimal. So you will multiply this also with 100. This also will with 100. So it will become 2400 upon 24. This will be 100 ohms. Okay, so that is how you got the answer, that is 100 ohms. Okay, now the next question, example 4. Determine the current that will flow when a potential difference of 33 volt is applied between the two ends of an appliance having a resistance of 110 ohms. If the same current is to flow through an appliance having a resistance of 500 ohms, how much potential difference should be applied across its two ends? So there are two questions given. In the first case, they have given the potential difference as 33 volts and resistance as 110 ohms, and you have to find out the current. With the equation V is equal to IR, I is equal to V upon R, that is 33 upon 110. If you cancel it by 11, you will get it 3 upon 10, and 3 upon 10 is 0.3 ampere. Now in the second part of the question, they have asked if the current is 0.3 and the resistance is 500 ohms, then what will be the potential difference? Again the same equation, V is equal to IR, so 0.3 into 500, that is 150 volts. Okay, so you may mark this example 1, example 3 and example 4. These are the most frequently asked questions. You may mark this. Now the next question, example 5. Determine the resistance of copper wire having a length of 1 kilometer and diameter of 0.5 millimeter. Okay, so the resistivity they have given as 1.7 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter. Okay, you may see resistivity of copper is given as 1.7 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm meter. Length is given as 1 kilometer. You have to convert it into meter. So it will become 1000 meter. 1000 meter means it is 10 raised to 3 meters. Diameter they have given 0.5 millimeter, that you have to convert into meter. So 0.5 upon 1000, that is 0.5 upon 10 raised to 3, that is same as 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 3 meter. So while doing the numericals, you may note that either all the values should be in centimeter or all the values should be in meter. Okay, it won't do if one is in centimeter, other is in meter and another is in kilometer. You cannot take those values. You have to convert all of them into either meters, all of them into centimeters, or all of them into millimeters or so. Okay, so here the diameter has been given in millimeters, so it has been converted into meters. First we will find out the area. The equation is pi r square. Here what is r? R will be d upon 2. So the equation becomes pi into d upon 2 the whole square. That means pi is 3.14, diameter is 0.5 into 10 raised to minus 3 upon 2 the whole square. Okay, upon 2 square. 2 square I have written it as 4. Okay, from where did this 4 come from? Okay, it came from 2 square. This 2 the whole square, that will give you 4. Okay, so the equation becomes 3.14 into 0.5 into 0.5. I wrote it 2 times. Even if you square it, the calculation will be the same, into 10 raised to minus 6. 10 raised to minus 3 whole square is 10 raised to minus 6. A raised to m whole raised to n is a raised to m into n. Okay, you know according to law of indices. So 10 raised to minus 3 whole square is 10 raised to minus 6. So upon 4. Now the equation, if you multiply this, you will get it as 0.785 upon 4 into 10 raised to minus 6. Now if you calculate this, you will get it as 0.196 into 10 raised to minus 6. But in our textbook, they have rounded out this value, that as it is 196. As this number is 5 or more than 5, you can add it to the other previous number. So it makes 0.2 into 10 raised to minus 6 meter square. This is the area. Okay, it is the area. Now R is equal to rho L upon A. That is, rho is 1.7 into 10 raised to 8. L is 10 raised to 3 meter upon the area is 0.2 into 10 raised to minus 6. Okay, now here what they have done, 1.7 upon 0.2 into 10 raised to minus 8 into 10 raised to 3 upon 10 raised to minus 6. Okay, this they have done. Okay, 1.7 upon 0.2. What will be 1.7 upon 0.2? I will show you. That will be 17 upon 2. Okay, it will be same as 17 upon 2 into 17 upon 2 into 10 raised to minus 8 plus 3 is 10 raised to 5. 10 raised to 5 minus 5 upon 10 raised to minus 6. So it will become 17 upon 2 is, what is 17 upon 2? It will be 8.5. Okay, 8.5 into 10 raised to minus 5 plus 6. Okay, 10 raised to minus 5 minus 6. So it will be 10 raised to minus 5 plus 6. That will make it as 8.5 into 10. That is equal to 85 ohms. Okay, so this is how they got the answer as 85 ohms. Okay, you may copy this in your notebook. Today your work is to copy all these numericals in your notebook and practice it again and again and do it thoroughly. Okay, thank you.